Right now it's summer in the Netherlands, which means that if you're gonna play any games or do anything with your hands, you will have a high chance of getting those sweaty, slippery hands that we all hate. Even if it's not summer where you live, you still might have sweaty hands. So in this video, I'll go over some methods to prevent and deal with sweaty hands. There are many things that can cause this, but most of the time it's one of two things, or a combination of them. It could be because of stress, or because it's just hot where you are. I've divided this video into two halves. The first half is for methods that are easy to do and don't take a lot of preparation, and the second half is for things that take a little bit longer and that might be a little bit more on the try-hard side. Let's get into the first half. One of the things you can do to immediately have less sweaty hands is drink less coffee or energy drinks. That's because those things contain caffeine, and caffeine increases how much you sweat, especially if the reason you sweat in the first place is stress. Another thing you can do to immediately have less sweaty hands is to take a look at how you grip your mouse, keyboard, controller, or whatever. You might be gripping it too tightly, which can cause extra sweat. A tight grip is also not necessarily better for accuracy than a loose grip. You of course also want to take a look at the temperature of the room you're in. You don't want it to be too hot because that causes sweat, but of course it shouldn't be too cold because then you can get cold hands, which is also annoying. I have a video on how to fix cold hands as well, so if you have cold hands, take a look at that. One of the best ways to fix a lot of things that are annoying about your body is by getting more healthy overall. That means eat well, do exercise, and don't do too many drugs and stuff. Eating foods high in sugar, for example, can lead to excessive sweating. Sweaty hands can also be a temporary thing. You might grow out of it, so don't sweat it too much. Now let's get into the second half. These things might be considered a little bit try-hard or a little sweaty, but they do work. You know how people put chalk on their hands before doing exercise? They do that to keep their hands dry so they have more grip. You can do this for your sweaty hands as well. Just wash your hands, dry them off, and then put on some chalk, baby powder, or cornstarch. Rub it in, and you should have no issues with sweaty hands for a while. Don't use too much because I don't think it would be nice to have your whole room covered with powder after playing one match of Apex Legends. Another thing you could use for your hands are antiperspirants. These are usually used on people's armpits, but they also work on your hands. There are even ones created specifically for your hands. They work by literally blocking your sweat glands temporarily, stopping them from sweating. I have one of these linked in the description if you're interested. You could also let your hands sweat and buy a silicone grip for your controller. This fixes the problem with the grip, but you do still sweat. So it might be a good idea to get one of these and then also apply one of the other methods that I talked about. You could also always get Botox injections in your hands, but I think that that's a little too try-hardy, unless you have a condition like palmar hyperhidrosis or something. Anyways, I hope this video helped, and if you have any methods, feel free to share them with others in the comment section. Also, please leave a like.